Hello everybody, welcome to the channel, to the next video in this Armored Warfare Tanks and Vehicles series. Today I'll be talking about the T92 light tank. T92 sits in Tier 2 of Marat Zhishkin dealership, and from this point you can choose the two paths of your future research. If you prefer to play with light tanks, you can choose to follow American light tank line from T92, or you can choose to follow British main battle tank line also from T92, depends on your preferences, of course. Before I start with the pros and cons and specifications of T92, just a little bit about its history. The production of T92 started in 1950s when American Army was looking for a replacement tank to replace the aging M41 Bulldog light tank, and one of the developments, one of the tanks that was proposed was T92. It was decided that the gun of M41 Bulldog is adequate for the time, and almost the same gun was mounted on T92 light tank. One of the drawbacks of this gun is that it's not stabilized, it doesn't have a stabilizer, so it's very difficult to fire and aim on the move. Also, it is a semi-automatic gun. It has a semi-automatic loading and it can fire approximately 12 rounds per minute. After some years of testing and development, unfortunately T92 never entered serial production. What happened was in 1957 the American Army and the Congress learned that the Soviets are developing the PT-76 light tank. That was an amphibious vehicle. It has a underwater submerged capabilities, so they requested from the developers of T92 to implement the same characteristic and same amphibious modifications to T92. Unfortunately, that couldn't be done on T92, so the whole program was scrapped and T92 was cancelled in 1958. As the name itself suggests, T92 is a light tank. It plays completely different from main battle tanks of whom I spoke in the last two videos. Your main advantage when playing T92 is your speed, and this tank can go up to 72 kilometers per hour, and you'll be using that speed to traverse the battlefield very quickly, to come first to these so-called choke points and lay ambushes to your enemies, and also to serve sort of a scout for your main battle tanks and also to protect their flanks, of course. T92 also has a very low profile. It's a relatively small tank and hard to detect by your enemies. It also has a stealth ability. That means that even when you are moving with T92, your camo ratings don't drop. As I mentioned before, the T92 uses the 76mm gun, almost the same one that was used in M41 Bulldog, and the damage of this gun is not great, not the best. It's around 160 to 170, and it's of course not so great when you compare it to T55 and M48. But when you look at the damage per minute, T92 excels there. It has a damage per minute of about 3600, and that is thanks to its great reload time of less than 3 seconds. Like in most American tanks, also in T92 you can use three types of grenades: armor-piercing ones, HESH rounds and heat rounds. In my playthrough with T92 I mostly use the armor-piercing rounds. I found them most consistent ones. You will get a little bit less damage than when you use the HESH rounds or heat round, but almost all of your hits will be penetrations, unlike with HESH rounds or heat rounds. One thing that the T92 seriously lacks is, of course, its armor. It's almost non-existing, and you can be penetrated by basically everything on the battlefield, from main battle tanks that only need like 2 or 3 hits to finish you. Also, tank destroyers, even infantry fighting vehicles can penetrate and destroy you without any problems. So your best option is to keep moving and to be hidden, to use terrain in your advantage, to use the flanks and try to ambush the enemies or hit them while staying hidden. Otherwise, as I said, your armor is not existing, you don't have it, and it only takes 2 or 3 hits to destroy your vehicles and end the game for you. I was a little bit skeptical when I started playing with T92 coming to it after playing with T55 and M48. But at the end, I must admit that it's a very nice little vehicle, very nice little tank, especially if you like playing very fast and stealthy vehicles. You can also be a great asset to your team thanks to the great damage per minute of T92, but you must always remember that you almost don't have any armor, so as soon as you are seen on a battlefield, your life expectancy drops significantly. In the end, I would say that definitely T92 has more pros than cons, and to go and try this tank, especially if you are into light tanks and vehicles. And in this tank tree, after T92, things get even more interesting and exciting later when you get a chance to research British Scorpions and American Sheridan and Stingray tanks. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this short overview of T92 light tank. If you did, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. And I'll be seeing you next time when I will continue with overviews of armored warfare tanks and vehicles. Until that next time, I wish you all the best, take care and goodbye.